Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Dady from Center for Health and Healing. I'm glad you could take a listen today. Today I have Mike Tanzillo with me. He is a rep from Orthomolecular. Mike came in a couple of weeks ago and we started talking, and I was very impressed with not only their product sourcing and the materials they use to make their product, but, because I'm very picky about that, I like to go organic, whole foods. That's why I've been using standard process for 20 years. But Mike proceeded to tell me about how they go on Amazon to make sure their products are not sold on Amazon, because you never know when you're buying on Amazon, third-party sellers, if they're expired, if they're counterfeit, they're altered. We don't know if they're just shipped from China, white labeled. And their company did testing on a lot of products, and it was pretty alarming. So I'm going to turn this over to Mike, and he's going to share with us things to look for when you're trying to get a good quality product.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Dr. Dady, for taking the time to sit down with me, and love to just be able to kind of go and talk a little bit more about the industry, and with supplementation, it's becoming more and more popular. People are starting to know that vitamin D is good for your immune system, and so really what we're seeing with Orthomolecular, we're a practitioner exclusive company, and so we're seeing this shift of more of a direct to consumer route. We're all guilty of it, of going on Amazon, getting that next day shipping. It's very quick, very easy.
That's right.
Like tap of a one click, you're getting your stuff right sent right to you. But with supplementation and what we're putting into our body in terms of vitamins and minerals, we really want to make sure that we have a high quality raw material. And so I was telling Dr. Dady, with Ortho, we actually invest our own money into buying supplements back off of Amazon. And I always tell this story to every practitioner that I speak with, because as Dr. Dady was talking about the quality and the counterfeits, we're our own manufacturer and testing facility. And so what we did, we have a vitamin K2D3 that we bought off of Amazon. And first off, for our wholesale price, it's about $18. We bought it off of Amazon for about $100. So first off, it's completely marked up on Amazon. But when we sent it back up to our testing facility, the labels looked the same. It still had the plastic wrapping. It looked like it'd come off our own manufacturing line. And when we sent it back up there and tested it, we found out that it was 100% tap water. And so, yeah, that's where, when you're going on to Amazon, whether it's, where the storage or the storage units or, the manufacturing facilities are at in terms of Amazon, you really don't know the quality or what's going to be in your supplements. And so with that, that's really where Ortho, we strive to, being able to transform the practice of medicine. And, we can't do that, if we're taking tap water as our,
Well, one of the things that I do often is I'll go on there to see, one of your products that I can't keep enough in is D-Hist.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on there and I think they were charging $80 for something I charged $60 for. So,
exactly.
Even that, so that means they bought that product and then they just sold it on there. And there's so much that's not right about dealing with Amazon. So about a year ago, I wanted to make sure that my patients had access to the companies I trusted. Mm-hmm. So I went through the trouble of putting all of those companies on my website with of course, the company's permission to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. So it gives me safety with my patients. And every time we're having that discussion, I'm like, you can call the office, we'll send it to you. Mm. You can come in and pick it up. You can go online and order it and have it in 2 days. But do not go on Amazon and buy these products, because 90% of the time it is not from that company. Exactly. All of these products I have on my website, none of those companies sell on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I know Standard Process sued Amazon and they did lose. Mm-hmm. So now they let some Standard Process on there. They're the only exclusive company with it. They made a deal with them, I guess. But before that, you could not get any Standard Process anywhere except for practitioner's office. So you guys are still lock and key with that. I love that. And then you can trust that. So I also found some other very disturbing things like mold and metals and chemicals. So you have people out there, they want to stay in good shape, they want to eat well, they're doing all these wonderful things, then they're ingesting metals.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was a really good conversation to have to make people aware, consumers out there, that, you know, even lotions that they put on their body, what is in there from Amazon?
Exactly.
So going to the source, going to the company that makes the product.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And even with, you know, Orthomolecular, we kind of go above and beyond in terms of, you know, in terms of testing. We have a great facility, and we even with third-party testing, we actually like to kind of trick them. And so when we're having a product like maybe our probiotic or a multivitamin, we'll add something that's not in our supplements facts box, and we'll send it to a third-party tester. And if they come back to us and they say, looks exactly like, you know, the supplement facts box, we'll say, we know it wasn't. And so that's where, you know, we really kind of go above and beyond in making sure that, you know, in terms of the raw materials and in terms of the testing and the manufacturing, everything is, you know, what you're going to get on a supplements facts box to be able to, you know, help with your overall health. So
right. That was important to me, to make sure that we get that word out there, that people, they want convenience, but it is at a cost. You know, yes, it's convenient, it comes quick, but even standard processes products, your products, they're still going to come in 2 days, right, from your practitioner. So make sure that you know and trust that the company that you're buying this product from is legitimate, because it can make you sick. You know, you're sick and you're buying something to feel better, and then you don't know what you're ingesting. It is dangerous. And these kind of things are really hard to control out there. You know, you even look at drugs, all the commercials. I mean, I saw one the other day. It was very disturbing for me because it was menopause. And okay, menopause is not a disease. And if you test the patient, you can see what's going on, and you can adjust hormones and correct it. You know, really, the commercial said you can get a blood clot, death, or die. And I thought, oh, well, why don't you use wild yam? That will get rid of the hot flashes or support your adrenals. So going to the right practitioner that understands nutrition, the companies that have the best quality of those supplements is the most important thing here. So I really appreciate you sharing with us today, like the quality of your company, how you third-party test, and how important it is that you make sure the practitioners are actually giving the supplementation to their patients, and you know, no one random can come on there and just buy anything they want, not knowing what they're even getting. Right?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here today to speak on this, because I think it's, you know, it's super important for, you know, our society's health, and being able to, you know, have a high quality supplement, and go to see, you know, that practitioner to patient relationship should, you know, be built on trust. And that's where, you know, Orthomolecular is here to be able to provide those supplements to ensure that trust between you guys. So I really appreciate you having me here today. So thank you.
I wanted to ask you to mention one product right now that you think is a wonderful seller, but it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that people, autoimmune or someone has got, but for me it was that D-Hist. Talk a little bit about what D-Hist does and how it helps people prevent allergies. And during this season now, it's kind of it's a little past, but even people that have year-round allergies, this product is amazing.
Yeah, Natural D-Hist was actually, so we've been around for about 36 years now. And so Natural D-Hist was actually our first supplement that we manufactured and never came out with. And so it's going to be a mast cell stabilizer. So you're going to get things like quercetin and bromelain in there. And it's, instead of the kind of typical Zyrtec or you know, the Zyrtecs that are out there, or the over the counters, really, when that histamine reaction occurs, I always like to say it's almost like a balloon popping, and the symptoms that we get is the sneezing or the itchiness, where D-Hist is not going to make sure that balloon doesn't pop. It's going to stabilize the balloon or that mast cell to where you're not going to get the allergic reaction to it. So it's a really great, I call it a feel good supplement. I just moved down to Georgia about a year ago and never had never had allergies before, and once I started seeing the green pollen everywhere, I can tell you it was a lifesaver. So
well, it's also helped me with patients that do have mast cell issues, right?
Yep.
But one of the things that's so important, and I try to be really simple with patients, is I say, when you're breathing in outside and the allergens are entering your sinus cavity, this kills the allergens before they can affect the lungs and your eyes, so it doesn't let it enter. And I'll cover my mouth and my nose and say, really, that's what this is. I have a severe mold allergy, and I play golf, and there's a lot of that stuff. I mean, the grass is wet, it's damp, right? I have not been reinfected since. I take 3 a day. I stay on it. It's not just for me. It's not and it's allergy season. So that's one of the best products and the first products that I actually bought from your company that works so well. And I use it in, like I said, mast cell or allergies and so many other avenues for patients' illnesses and issues. But I just really wanted to talk about the one product with you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I knew it was your first product you guys actually developed. Well, thanks so much for coming today, spending some time with me, and being able to share your story so it can help people make better choices for their health with safe and effective, real, natural supplementation.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dr. Dady.